Hi, I'm Kiran Trace. I'm so glad you guys are joining us today. Our very good friend Simone Freeman is with us, and we're going to have another one of those delicious interviews on what it's like to just really come home to ourselves and find that authentic shape. So here we go. Hi, I'm Kiran Trace. Welcome to Humans Decoded, a story of hobbits, fairies, elves, dwarfs, gnomes, and humans. If you get lost at any point, there is a deep dive on all the different avatars in episode 1. It includes notes. Thank you for joining us in a fun little chat about the vast potential of our human makeup. You guys, Simone is here.
Simone in the house.
Simone Freeman. It's so juicy to introduce you to her, you guys. In typical elf fashion, she's an empire builder and a visionary. She would never say that, though. She is a chef. She's also the founder of Freeman House Chai. She was the owner of a really popular Chicago community space called the Soul Cafe. She continues to design and build community spaces for people to gather around really good food and drink. She designs restaurant spaces. She hosts pop-ups. And basically, anytime there's a real creative community adventure with good food, you're going to find our beautiful Simone Freeman. So, Simone, it's so great that you're here today.
Thank you. Are you talking about someone else? Like, that's wow. Thank you. That's so cool and sweet of you. Wow. Thank you. It's good to be here. I love you guys. I feel like I'm sitting in the cool table.
I feel like you've just elevated our table.
You guys, Simone's a longtime community Kiran Trace member. And there's just something so fun to introduce you decoders to, community members that have been around for a while. And you just get to feel how juicy and fun and delicious and unique everybody is. And I just look forward to doing these every time because I think you're going to discover also is that Simone is just so unique, just such a fresh point of view all the time. And we always really love the way she frames things. And I don't want to forget the beautiful Cami Carlo here, who's going to lead us off with some juicy questions.
Yeah. Hey, team. You know me. Here we go. Simone, did you sense in yourself what avatar you were? Or was there a journey to discover it?
It was so obvious. The moment y'all introduced avatars and then told me what I was, it was the most obvious thing. I feel like just all the descriptions, just in such plain sight. I love being an elf. I'm an elf. I should probably start with that. And yeah, it's kind of to a T. Elves are kind of funny. I don't know, but it feels like we're kind of cocky. We're kind of so into ourselves. And it just aligns super well. I just, check.
So is
check,
that the
check.
elfiest thing ever?
One look at my Instagram and you'd be like, yeah, she's an elf, 100%.
I love the way you put that. We're into ourselves. I like to say we're just so arrogant.
So
and
arrogant.
It's obnoxious, but we don't mind it with each other. Outside, it's terrible.
Yes.
But having such a clear and obvious sense of what you were there any light bulb moments or shocked moments?
Yeah, totally. I discovered that I'm not a hard worker, actually. I thought I was such a hard worker. I actually hate working so much. And I grew up in a dwarf home, and it's just grunting and working hard and getting it done to get it done because that's what you're supposed to do. And I lived the majority of my, the beginning of my professional career like that because I was really inspired by what I was doing, and I thought I had to be part of the team to do every little detail. And yeah, it just wasn't in alignment. So there was just this huge exhale, aha, for me to not have to be that. And actually everyone around me, it improved the way that I felt in my body and everyone's work experience around me because it was out of alignment for me. So then it was kind of out of alignment for everybody else. So like for now, I do kind of like to cosplay work sometimes where I get really excited about like, this is why events are great for me. Cause I like cook and focus and get details down for like 48 hours, but then I need 48 hours to like go home and rest and do absolutely nothing. But yeah, the dwarf conditioning, totally wasn't it.
That's so cool. And that leads me to the next question. Do you think there's any atypical qualities about your avatar than, say, the usual expression?
For me, I really love to eat. I grew up in food. So the forgetting to eat isn't quite it for me. I know that there's a lot of elves that they forget to eat. They just want to eat something quick. And sometimes that is it for me, but that tends to be more out of alignment. If I forget to eat, it's because I'm super out of the body. And I mean, I do know that elves need you know, to ground with food with lots of fat and protein and things like that. But I never forget a meal. I love eating. I love cooking. It's still very elfy the way I do it, but yeah, I think that's a big one. Also, I have like a bigger closet. Like it's kind of capsule wardrobe-y, but there's like, and everything's super efficient, but like I have 8 pairs of sneakers and they all do something a little bit differently, or like trousers. Like I have 10 pairs of trousers or like button downs, and they're all very efficient and well made and like one solid color or something, but I have like several of them. And I think a little bit of that is also dwarf conditioning. Like um I used to have the craziest closet of clothes, all because of my mother and sister who were insane dwarves. And I would look at my closet and be like, I have nothing to wear because that's itchy. That takes forever to put on. I hate that. And so the another like moment that was really a light bulb moment was like, oh, I can change my wardrobe to be more elfy and more efficient. And that's been a really helpful. I totally like 180'd my closet. It's completely different than it was a couple years ago. And I love it. I love what I wear.
Amazing.
It feels so good. It feels good in my body when I'm listening to you be like, I never forget a meal and I love my closet. I'm like, oh gosh, like those are like goals, such goals, because I'm so like triple elf. I'm like, I don't remember if I ate dinner last night and we're already in the next day. And like my feet are freezing cold. And like I'm recording this podcast in my closet. And y'all, I'm going to take a picture so you can see I don't know how you could find anything to wear in here. Like there's nothing. There's nothing. And it's this little basket of like 4 items by my bed. That's all I wear. And it sounds so terrible, that elfy way that can be so elfy that way. But I think you're bringing up this really good point about how the other avatar, like maybe that dwarf system brought you into the food, and you have this preset of a closet that didn't work for you, but at least you had this idea that you would have like 8 shoes, which fairy avatars, you might be like 8 shoes. That's ridiculous. Nothing. But for an elf who has like 2, it's amazing. It's such a goal. It's so beautiful. So like, and you're kind of describing this as just making my whole system relax. Is there part of coming home to an elf that made your whole system just like relax? And like, you're like, oh, boom, this is me. This is really me.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like with that hardworking way of being, I feel like everything softened in me. I just got to like relax back and see that like my natural tendencies are gifts, and to focus on those, and then to let other people like gnomes and hobbits do what they love most. I would always pass off things, for people that were working for me, like, oh, don't you want to design the menu? You're the cook. Don't you want to? That's the most fun. And I would see people freak out. And then I realized, no, they want me to do that. And they want to cut the onions and make the vegetables. They don't want to actually. And so finding that like system between all the avatars is really like special. And yeah, like noticing I'm really sensitive. I'm sensitive to energy, noticing that like my natural movement to focus on the vision is like really great and important. And it lightens my load and makes kind of me thrive and everyone thrive around me.
I love that you finding a home for yourself kind of ripples out into the people that you work with as well. That's really cool.
Yeah, I was just like, I was very, because elves can see details. We can see it and we like organization, but we don't want to actually do it. And so I would have this like micromanaging kind of way of being when I was, grunting with everybody and doing that extra stuff. And everyone around me was like, chill, like, let us just do our fucking job. And so the moment I just like came into myself and was like, I'm the vision, I'm going to like come up with these ideas and let you do what you do best. Everyone was just like happier, like thriving in their own work, their own bubble, whatever they need, I guess.
You know what I love hearing here too, Simone, is you're talking about like recognizing the gift that you bring by being the visionary, because as an elf, and I think that elves really struggle with this, like like the idea that you're not going to execute very much or anything has this like residue or hangover of like, I'm not contributing. And when you're juxtaposing that with that dwarves who's like, that's their raison d'etre, like, I'm the executor, I will do everything, and that is value. And like, I noticed that elves just struggle so much with this, like giving themselves credit for all the vision and all the strategy that they're bringing so that the flow is there and everyone's doing their best. So I really love you talking about that. And I just wanted to dig in there a little deeper and be like, was that a difficult thing to reclaim from that dwarf household where execution is everything, but that true shape, that true relaxation you're saying is like recognizing execution is not it.
Yeah, absolutely. It took many years of sitting with it and working on a lot of the pain bodies, the main core pain bodies of not good enough and not being safe, to get to come home to that. And it's definitely still a constant practice. But there is this feeling sometimes where I'm like, I'm not even doing anything. Like, am I even living my life? Am I even working? Because I don't feel like I'm actually doing any of the things. And there's this idea in our society that we have to actually like be experiencing and doing the things in order to have value, to be a value add. So definitely unraveling that. So the other thing I was going to say is that cockiness and that, oh, I'm just going to do the top tier stuff is like the way that our society sees it, like it's not especially in the food industry, like the noble behavior is to be down in the trenches and to work hard with everybody and to show by example of how you're supposed to be. And yeah, I just noticed that like, that's just not true. And by moving towards my truth of working less, focusing more on vision, I noticed that everyone else is able to work less and be more efficient. And I can lead by example. And letting, like, I love working with hobbits and I love working with gnomes because they just get so excited in their area and they just want to focus on their area. They want to get nitty gritty, gnomes want to get nitty gritty on like the details of perfecting a recipe, and hobbits want to like, do the dishes and prep the dishes and things like that. And they're just so happy in that area. So for me, I can see the overall, it's like a well-oiled machine. I can see it play out as a factory. And that's my job, is to see who goes where people fit in and not let, like, I'm able to guide people into their alignment and out of their, like, any job that's out of their alignment. So I don't know. I feel like people that are work for me now are much happier. They feel appreciated and valued and working a lot less and getting paid more. So it works, It works. The other way did not work. The other way is so fucking broken, and especially in the food industry. And I was a product of it.
Yeah, it's so cool. And also that everybody's up leveling with you. And I also feel like this is going to be so helpful, like, to a lot of people listening. I've got an elf friend. We were talking the other day and he was giving himself a hard time because he's not doing enough. But it's like, dude, you're like dreaming up all these visions.
Well, it's funny because like as an elf, I see other people saying, and my friend Austin feels the same way. They're like, we have people that are like, you do so much. I can't believe how much you do. And I'm like, I worked for 30 minutes today. I have no idea what you're talking about, but we're super efficient and we just get things done. And it's like beam, bam, boom. But like
I even know if that's fair because it's like 30 minutes you work today, but you actually spent like 18 hours just having so much fun in your head with the idea of like how it could like be created, how it could germinate, and then how it would flow out. So that 30 minutes had 18 hours of prep that like isn't part of a hobbit system, isn't part of a fairy system, isn't part of the gnome system. So I'm so loving the way you're articulating the contributions of that elf, because inside the elf skin, you're articulating it so clear. Like we feel like we're doing nothing. We feel like, are you kidding me? I did like 30 minutes, but it was 30 minutes at the tail end of 18 hours, but the 18 hours were just so fun and so aligned and, and so sparkly to us, that like dreamscape, the imagine, take the detail and follow it out. So
yeah, and it doesn't have to look like the 18 hours of a hobbit of pottering, of actually physically doing stuff. It's like on a whole nother terrain, which is just, why it's so cool to celebrate the differences.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I just did an event. It was a food event called Après Ski, and I just got so into I never do the same food. I never cook the same food for events. When I DJ, I also DJ, and I never do the same music. It's always like I'm just inspired by new things and new ideas and coming up with the vision and the curating the menu. Oh my God, or the playlist. It's just like so juicy to me. So it took me like a month of just feeling into it, like looking at like recipes, how it all flows and stuff. And I had a gnome chef with me who like was able to get into the details and kind of perfect the recipes. That's just not really, I didn't really look at how to do the recipes. I just thought about the like flavors and things like that. So yeah, like those details. It was so funny because I was like, I'm so sorry you're doing this. And he was like, no, what do you mean? Like he didn't even understand that those details were like, I was like, oh God, I'm so sorry. He's like, this is my shit. No.
We can't hear that enough about how the more aligned you are in your own skin, in your own rhythm, in your own avatar, the better it is for everyone. And that couldn't be more true about an elf who tends to be the vision, the strategy, the leader, the boss. If you can be really aligned, it can just free up everyone else into their own alignment. And I love the point you're bringing home, that it becomes more efficient. It becomes more effortless for everybody. Everybody makes more money. It's much more sustainable. Like I love the like social proof, like the way you're describing it. And it's such an invite for, all of the decoders listening and for their community of like, just go prove it to yourself, just risk it and prove it to yourself.
Yeah, totally. I never thought I could cook for events because I thought I always did the planning, but I never did the food because I didn't think I was like skilled enough in the, the way you see a chef, those oriented chefs that perfect a meal. And I've kind of started proving it to myself that I can absolutely do that. I just do it as an elf, and then I collaborate with people that do the things that I'm not good at that they love, and then I get to hire people. So yeah, it's just you find your lane as an avatar within the thing that you fully desire.
Yeah, I love hearing how much more you're inhabiting the kind of elf avatar. But can you think of a couple of moments when you saw or discovered some inauthentic conditioning?
The like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed moments that we share on the pod all the time.
I have a couple, yeah, for sure. I'm not a pastry girl, y'all. I really wanted to be a pastry girl. Like, I just wanted to be one of those cute Instagram girls that goes and gets a cute little breakfast pastry, gets a croissant and a coffee, and it's so cute. And I tried it so hard for like 6 months last year. And my partner at the time was like, I would call her every time and be like, I have a tummy ache and I'm hungry. She'd just be like, stop it. Like, go get some bacon. Like, this isn't working for you. So like, I'd say like once a quarter when I really feel into it, a pastry works for me. And it's just a full body yes. But it's like I probably had a steak dinner the night before. You know what I mean? So it's just like a cute little thing. It's not really the thing. Yeah. I'd say like another example is like learning something new. And I'm shifting careers now into interior design. And so there are these things that quote unquote you have to learn to be an interior designer. And like architectural drawing or graphic design is so not it for me. It's so even my hands are like it's too slow. It's too like very slow, very detail oriented. So sometimes learning something new can be challenging if it's out of alignment.
Do you find that it's helpful to talk about the avatars? I mean, you mentioned like you get to hire these different positions, but like, or even in this, like where you're taking on a new skill, is there a way that you talk about avatars to people in the world that helps you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I usually I don't use the word elf or avatar, but I talk about everything else, like all the descriptions, so that people can understand it. And if somebody seems like they're able to hear it or interested, then maybe I'll talk about it. But you don't really need that in order to explain it. You know, I feel like a lot of our society right now is really open to the natural tendencies that people are, you know, I mean, obviously like zodiac signs and human design and all of these other things are opening that up. So like, I'll usually use the words like vibe, energy, efficient, like big ideas and fast moving, you know, I will use the traits of an elf or of somebody else somebody else's avatar to get my kind of to communicate what I need. But it's been really helpful because it helps me to identify my boundaries and how I can be set up for success in being around other people. I think that's one thing that's been really big is understanding I'm like very energetically sensitive. I kind of like to be at a place and you know when it's right and then leave really quickly after and then go in my own little forest dwelling. So with family and stuff, like really communicating that I'm sensitive to energy. I can't socialize that long, you know, kind of in and out. When I'm in, I'm very present. And then, yeah, everyone in my family, like I said, is dwarves. So they just want to congregate every week, all the time, even if they're fighting or hate each other and yelling. And
does your family respond to it? Like, do they hear it?
it's been several years of letting them know, but they see that I get in a bad mood or overwhelmed or they can see how pained I am. So after me just being consistent with it, they're like, yeah, come whenever, leave whenever. You don't have to come. I mean, sometimes they definitely still will guilt me and there is stuff out of alignment, but it's practice, you know, it's just constant practice. You're never going to nail it in the first try or, you know, so. But now I can feel my body. Like I can tell it's not it, you know, it feels so painful when you're not in that delicious flow. So it's just like the stakes are higher for me to not want to put myself through that.
I think a lot of the decoders listening, you know, maybe they just discovered the podcast this year, you know, and there can sometimes be this sense of like, I should know exactly what avatar I am right now. And I need to tell my family or show my family. So I think you're bringing up this really good point of like, it's years of practice. And like, how many years do you think it's been of you just like becoming more and more comfortable with the elfness of yourself?
I feel like it was official in 2020. I think that's when this started to take shape in our community and we started to identify what was what. And I feel like that was the first retreat I went on. And that was really helpful in shaping kind of, we just, in our community, we just had so much fun, like playing with avatars when we're all together, and then you can kind of see the differences when you're all together and the similarities. So like the elf group, we had the little workout elf group.
And so Simone's talking about like arriving at 2020 and watching how we as a community at that event start playing with it. So yeah, the elf group. Let's talk about what the elf group was. That was so fun that year.
Yeah, we just like would just be in this workout where we would like I don't even remember what we called ourselves.
Shreddies.
The shreddies. We would go and shred, like hard workouts, and then I don't know. It was just so funny. Like we were just all so cocky and loud, and everyone hobbits would look at us like we were crazy and then go back to like knitting or something.
And then
And also
those very long walks in the forest and just the hobbits breathing in the trees while the elves are like hacking everything. Like they're like, how do we use everything that's at the retreat center to its highest advantage? And then like do a circuit of everything in the morning, like get up in the morning and circuit through using each element of the like retreat space to its utmost,
Yeah, no, I can't say enough. Like retreat's amazing. I love it. It's besides having, it's so fun. It's like summer camp for adults. But yeah, it was a really great way to kind of really discover and solidify my avatar and see the beauty in all the different avatars as well. Like so fun.
Okay, and so then let's go fast forward nearly 5 years. And do you feel like you've landed? Do you feel like there's still so much to discover? Are you aware of like habits that you're still kind of taking on that aren't completely authentic?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I'll wake up in the morning and I'll try to like meditate or like write down my delicious day, but then I have some coffee and then all of a sudden 1,000 ideas come. And I just get so excited about 100 different ideas. I'm texting people about different events. I'm writing out 5 different creative ideas and to-do lists and things. And just a practice for me is just constant practice, is slowing way down and getting out of the mind, because elves can really, really take it. I have, probably like 100 open tabs on my phone of things I want to see or buy or do. So that's still like a constant practice for me. And then I think, seeing through a lot of the pain bodies, like that dwarf doer is really like in my blood in this crazy way. And I see that I'm kind of like sometimes like a chicken with my head cut off, where I'm like, I have these to-do lists and I'm like, I'm going and doing them, but nothing gets done. And then I have to end up like, I buy these things and then I have to return them because they're not right. And I'm back at square one. Whereas like elves, the real elf tendency, the natural movement is just like, doing so much less and softness and chilling and being like home and quiet in your forest. And then all of a sudden you have a vision that is the right vision to take. And then you follow that, you have a team and then, you're not doing much. So really, really getting home to my avatar. I think it's challenging when I'm kind of starting fresh in a new career to not feel like I have to do, like I said before, like do all of the things in order to prove myself. Like, yeah, I'm listening to a lot of the podcasts and being like, oh yeah, that's true. I don't have to be like that. So yeah, excuse my dog in the background. Hope it's not too loud. She's a barky girl. She's also an elf. Let me tell you, she's such an elf.
What does elf puppy look like?
She like she's super fast and she loves to just like go explore an adventure and then like hang out with people and dogs for a little bit, but then go do her own thing. Yeah, she's a small, like very efficient, pack size, like doesn't shed. I don't know. She's just an elf. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, yeah.
I love it. I've forgotten to think about it. Animals might have the traits of their owners or something in there too. Interesting.
Yeah, you should definitely do a pets avatar episode.
I think it's so cool to hear how unique the avatar journey is for you. Because it's just so great to get like such a unique flavor of elf, because you're also kind of a doer. So like, there's like physical aspects to what you do, but then you found your way inside of that. Like, yeah, you're sort of a chef and a designer, so it's quite hands-on, but then you've kind of found your own elfy way into that. So that's been really awesome to explore with you.
Thank you. It's been really interesting to explore that, like, there doesn't have to be one set path for each avatar. Like, you don't have to be a dwarf to be a chef. You don't have to be an artist. You don't have to be a fairy to be an artist. There's so many different elements within an overall, thing. And a lot of it's just such a construct. It's like, we're just playing here. Yeah. Thank you. It's been really fun chatting about it, actually. Like, yeah. Like, oh yeah, that is me. That is kind of cool. That is growth. That's great.
All right, decoders. This is so enlightening, even for me. I mean, we talk about avatars all the time, but I feel like I learned so much about elves, and I don't know. I think the exploration is just ever deepening. So thanks for coming along with us.
Thanks, you guys. See you next week. Thank you for listening. We obviously love hearing what you think. Your feedback helps us make a better show for you to listen to. So feel free to comment, and you can do it at Facebook, which is the Humans Decoded podcast. And if you're not on social, you can always email any questions to us at outreach@kirantrace.com. And thanks for listening. We love you.